Hi guys, it's Tina from All Things Pretty. I just wanted to make another video, just touch bases with you guys and see how everything's going with the page. Um, like I said, it's fairly new. I'm still adding a lot of things to it and working on a lot of things. Your guys' input would be pretty great if you could help me with that. I'm not the best technical person or know those things. My boyfriend normally is pretty good at like explaining that stuff, but sometimes he's not here and I have to figure things out by myself. You know how that goes. Anyways, so I had recently spoke to one of my followers and we had gotten into conversation about friendships and how friendships and relationships sometimes leave us in a despair feeling. Sometimes they don't work out and you know we're kind of like, okay, now what? you know um in my personal experiences with friendships and relationships, I feel that it really takes a lot of effort from both parties to make it work. If one person is working harder than the other, then there could be a lot of tension and animosity, you know. And I guess it takes a lot of trust to trust just any individual, and knowing you can trust them. You know when it comes to relationships, this is the person that you're getting to know to eventually spend the rest of your life with. That's why you're building relationships and milestones together. And you know I can see how some people can um I guess find it hard. They have a wall up that to move forward after an ex or a past relationship or a friendship of trusting people. And I completely agree, it is hard. I've personally have gone through it myself with a relationship and also in friendships. And it could be tough, some people build friendships for 10 plus years, or all their lives. They've grown up together, or 2 years, however, and you grow a close bond with this person. And sometimes, throughout those years, people change, and it's a whole process of growing up. And sometimes the other person may not like the changes, or too many changes at once can create more like a ripple effect in any relationship. Or sometimes people become successful and the other person might feel left out, or you know they don't feel like they're achieving their goals as fast as somebody else is, and that could put a break in a relationship, whether it's a romance relationship or a personal relationship with a coworker or a friend or even a family member. Sometimes it breaks bonds. And I see that a lot in a lot of families, that people often will pull away from each other once somebody succeeds in something, or they feel left out, or sometimes people just stop keeping in touch and they feel betrayed in some sense. And honestly, I can relate to that because there was a time in my life where I felt like the whole world was against me and everything was crumbling, and I didn't have anybody to talk to and or anybody to relate to. And people, some of my friends that I've grown up for years, I couldn't talk to them about it because I don't think they would understand. And a part of me personally felt like embarrassed about talking about some of the problems I may have been going through, or um, in some sense hiding, because you kind of do feel like oh no, like embarrassed. And I feel that no one should feel embarrassed for things that, when it comes to change is a process that everybody has to go through, and without change we can't evolve and become to this stage in our life where we become a better person and understand, our purpose in life. And I feel that, we often take that for granted. Some of us see these lessons as, like, oh, God's punishing us, or God's not listening to us, or, or why did he do this? I don't deserve this. In that sense, I feel that, if you just take a few steps back and just kind of like evaluate the situation, you'll see like, was it really worth being with that person, or being friends with that person, or allowing yourself to build that closeness with someone that's not willing to compromise you, or that it's always their way or no way at all. And I think that often happens, that a lot of relationships do turn to a sour direction because people don't know how to compromise one another, and it's like a tug of war back and forth, and things just don't work out that way. It's sad, but that compromise, you're gonna run into those problems all the time, with any relationship, with coworkers, bosses, friends, and relationships. But I will say, if you find that you don't fit in their life, or they can't make time for you, then it's probably not really for you. It's more harmful to you than having to fight back and forth for someone's attention, rather than someone freely giving it to you. And I think a lot of us do have problems coping with that, because we want to be accepted and we want to be loved, and we don't understand sometimes that, why doesn't this person feel the same way as I do? And it builds these walls, and then when we move on to another relationship, then we're taking that baggage with us and assuming that next person's going to be that way. And I could say, yeah, it could be hard. I was in my personal relationship, I was with somebody, and there was no trust in the relationship, and things slowly started crumbling. It didn't work out, and it took me a very long time to trust somebody and to let someone back in my life because of those reasons. And in a way, I'm kind of thankful that it happened, because I was very wise and choosy who I wanted to be with, and who I felt would be a good candidate to be in my life. And some people might say that, oh, I may have built higher standards than what was needed, but to be honest, yeah, I built those standards because that's what I wanted, and that's what I was looking for. I didn't feel like I should settle for just anybody, and because I didn't just settle for anybody, I found somebody that was willing to accept my flaws, and we share the same train of thinking. We it's like just a coexistence of like this. Sometimes it feels like it's more of a bond between each other when you can finally find someone that you don't have to fight with all the time, or have an argument with all the time, and then you realize, oh wow, like this is a lot different from my last relationships. But you should always give someone at least the benefit of a doubt. If they can't prove it to you, then it's probably best to move forward, But there's nothing wrong with becoming friends with people and growing and knowing what you want in life, or who you want in your life, because this is someone, if you end up getting married with, you're with for a long time. Marriage is no joke. That's the next step to like forever. No one gets married thinking, oh, I'm gonna live with someone for 4 or 5 years and then I think I'll find somebody else. So a lot of that talk we talked about. And as far as people in their relationships, as in friends, I feel that if you feel that you I feel that if you have a bond with somebody, it becomes a relationship, it furthers, progresses in that way, just allow it to happen. But if you feel like it's going to be compromised, your friendship, then it's probably not a step you want to make or try to pursue. But, you know, like I said, everybody has to take their chances. And if you don't take your chance, then you'll never know. And you're just going to be kicking yourself. Like, what if, you know? And, you know, I think if you share a bond with somebody, then why not? You know, if they make you feel good about yourself, they make you feel happy, you get butterflies in your stomach, or get cold chills, or whatever, or heart starts racing, you know, maybe that's just your own instincts trying to tell you, you know, go ahead and, you know, give it a try and see what, or how things work out, you know. But as far as relationships, like, I think that varies with anybody, like, differently. I'm not really the type of person to tell people how they should go about the relationships or what route to take. But I do feel that, I guess, follow your heart. A lot of people say don't follow your heart because you gotta be smart about things, which is true. You do, you know. If you see him or her with a whole bunch of people, or have a lot of girlfriends or a guy friends on Facebook, that's probably like a red flag, to be honest. But then you never know, maybe he might just like to build a social network, or, you know, it's hard to say. But I do think that relationships can sometimes, you know, work out for the better. Sometimes they can work out the best. Sometimes the people you end up with, you know, they were somebody a long time ago. Some people split up. They've been together since like high school, and 20 years later, you know, they decide, you know, hey, this isn't working for me. You know, people change, you know, and sometimes we just have to accept that, you know. I think when people start changing in our relationships is when we start doubting or thinking there's something that we've done, or we automatically think, oh, they're finding love somewhere else, or somebody else has caught their eye, or whatever. And some circumstances that could be true, and some circumstances that can't, or doesn't seem to be true, because sometimes I think people get so lazy in their relationships that, not so much lazy, but so comfortable that they forget to remember, oh, okay, these are the things she likes, these are the things he likes. And we kind of skip those steps, and it's like the spark's gone. And, you know, I guess always make your significant other feel special in some way. Whether it's a little note you leave before going to work, a text message on your way to work. No texting and driving. I mean, like, in your car, parked, and then text. We don't want to promote that. But I think that's the best thing you can do, is just kind of go with your gut instincts, and if it works out, it works out. If not, then it was a lesson learned, and you could always learn from it and become a better person. Alright, you guys, thanks for listening. See you later, and don't forget to share and like, and adios. Bye.